Tanse, Bojo, Bimashigin Indijnikas Mangandotem. My spirit name is Soaring Eagle, and I belong to the Loon clan. When we introduce ourselves through our spirit name, we're told that all of us, we all have spirit helpers, spirit guides. But sometimes my helpers, they might be halfway around the world, halfway across the universe. But as soon as I speak that name, Bimashigi Nyu, right away, instantly, they're beside me, helping to guide my words. And part of that is, it's an acknowledgement that I'm only a human being. And because I'm only a human being, I might say the wrong things sometimes. And it's not my intent to misguide anybody or to hurt anybody through my words. So sometimes I need that help. So that's why we introduce ourselves through our spirit names. So as we begin this short video, I just wanted to start with a smudging ceremony. And I wanted to light this medicine here that I'm holding. But a long time ago, when I was new to that circle, people would bring out these medicines and they would light them. But because I was new, I didn't know too much. So obviously, by watching, I knew that we're inviting something, that we're sending something away. But I never knew why they would use the different medicines in this ceremony. So I always promised myself that if I ever led that ceremony, that I would take time to talk about that medicine before I lit it. So today, I thought it would be appropriate, as in terms of the topic we're discussing, that I would use that sage medicine. And one of the teachings that comes with this medicine, it's a woman's medicine. It represents women. And it represents three things. Number one, it represents wisdom, because it's the women that carry the wisdom of the nation. Number two, it represents strength, because again, it's the women that are strong for the nation. Anytime that there's a wrong, unjust done to us as Indigenous people, it's always the women at the front. And it's up to us men to support them. Number three, it represents clarity or vision, because again, it's the women that have that vision for the nation. So today, as I light this medicine, to take that little bit of time to cleanse that mind, that body, and that spirit before I begin, I always try and think about wisdom in terms of that road that I've been walking. And I've been walking my road for many, many years. And along that road, I've had a lot of good things that have happened. And I've had some not so good things that have also happened. But then it's up to me to learn from those things, because that's why we call that wisdom. And as I think about strength, I always think about the road I'm walking today. What kind of strength do I need today to walk my road? Whatever that road might look like today for me. But sometimes it takes a lot of strength, just to get up in the morning, put on my clothes, and face the day. And sometimes I need to draw on that strength to be able to walk my road in the way that I choose to walk it. And as I think about clarity or vision, I always imagine the road ahead of me 5 years from now, maybe 10, 20, 30 years from now. What am I going to look like? And when I say that, I don't think about the wrinkles on my face, but I think about what kind of human being do I wish to become. So in that way, I always acknowledge that sage before I light it. The other reason we use sage, and the other important thing to acknowledge, and when we use sage, is by us using this medicine, we're also taking that little bit of time to acknowledge and to honor our mothers, our grandmothers, our aunties, our sisters, our partners, our niece, our daughters, all women. And that also includes all those missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls, especially their families who today are still searching for answers, searching for closure. And in that way, we acknowledge them and we honor them by using this medicine. Lastly, I always remind people, as Indigenous people, it's not for us to say that you have to partake. And usually the protocol in that is that when that medicine is being passed, if you don't want to participate, that's perfectly okay. What you would do then is just tap that bowl, and that will let that person know to move to the next person. So part of what I wanted to share also in this segment, in this video, is I also wanted to share this teaching as well. And this is that Sweetgrass Teaching. And one of the teachings that comes with this medicine here, this is one of those kindness medicines. This is that medicine we use to invite kindness in our thinking, the way we think about others, the way we think about ourselves, or maybe just the way we think about life sometimes. Or maybe to invite that kindness back into our bodies, or else maybe back into our spirit. When you light sweetgrass, it has a very sweet, gentle aroma to it. But when we make a braid like this, we usually use 21 strands to make a braid. We divide those into 7, 7, and 7. These first 7 strands over here, they always represent those 7 generations behind us. Our parents, our grandparents, great-grandparents, 7 generations. Who we are, what we are, is because of them. They're the ones that made all the trails that we walk today. Sometimes the old people tell us when we pray for healing for ourselves today, sometimes that healing might take a little bit longer to come. And the reason they say is because those old trails have been disturbed. And what they mean by that is that we put up dams, for example. That river might have flowed this way before, but now that dam is there, now that river flows this way. Or else maybe there's a big lake there now where that trail used to be, a concrete highway, a town, a city where that trail used to be. So they say when we pray to them, they come right away, but then they get to that obstacle on the trail. So now they have to find a different way to come. And they say that's why sometimes it takes a little while longer for that healing to come. The other thing the old people tell us is that sometimes maybe our parents didn't do a good job raising us. Maybe some of them did a lousy job raising us. But if anything, they gave us life. And at least for that, we need to be thankful. So that's what these first 7 on the braid represent, those strands there. The next 7 over here, they represent those 7 teachings that we all hear about. Those sacred teachings of love, respect, honesty, humility, courage, wisdom, and truth. The old people tell us that those teachings are very simple. Love, for example, it's not a very difficult teaching. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know and understand that teaching. They also tell us that those teachings are very powerful. Respect, again, a powerful teaching. They say that those teachings are very beautiful. Humility. When I can understand that I'm no better than you, right? But then you're no better than me either, right? Regardless the color of our skin, regardless what we believe in or don't believe in, regardless where we sit on that totem pole of life, every evening that sun goes down on the west. And when that sun goes down, we're still all going to be human beings. And when we can accept that and understand that, that's what makes those teachings powerful and beautiful. The other thing they say about those teachings is that we don't walk them every day. Love, L-O-V-E, it's just a 4-letter word. But when we walk that love, when we show that love, when we demonstrate that love, that's what makes those teachings powerful and beautiful. The other thing, the last thing they say about those teachings is how can I love you if I don't first learn to love myself? How can I respect you if I don't even respect my own self? How can I tell you the truth if I'm not willing to tell myself the truth? So what those elders are telling us is that those teachings always have to start from within us. But that's what these 7 represent, is those 7 sacred teachings. The last 7 on the braid, they represent those 7 generations ahead of us. Our children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, those children that are yet to be born. Why are they important? Well, what we do to Mother Earth today is one day going to affect them. Right now, she gives us everything and anything that we possibly could need to have this life. But if we don't look after her, what's going to be left for them when it's their turn? I heard a teaching many years ago, sitting in a circle. This elder, he asked us the question. He asked, what if today, he said, what if today on Mother Earth, he said, all the 4-leggeds, all the winged ones, all the crawly ones, he said, what if they all died today on Mother Earth? What would happen to us human beings? And the answer is that we too would probably end up dying. And then he asked, he said, what if today on Mother Earth, he said, all the grasses, the weeds, the flowers, and all the trees, he said, what if they all died? What would happen to us human beings? And the answer again is that we too would eventually die. And then he asked, he said, what if all the lakes and the ponds and the creeks, the rivers and the oceans and everything that lives in those ones, what if they all died today? What would happen to us human beings? And again, the answer is very obvious, that we too would die. And then finally he asked, he said, what if today, he said, on Mother Earth, he said, just all of a sudden like that, he said, what if all the human beings died? What would happen? Nothing. Nothing would happen. In fact, Mother Earth would probably get healthier. But what that teaching teaches us is that it's us that needs her. She doesn't need us, but we need her. And that's why we need to look after her for those next generations ahead of us. But also part of that teaching in regards to those 7 generations ahead of us, that circle that's around me today, is that the same circle that I want to pass on to them? Especially if my circle involves alcohol abuse, family violence, drinking, lying, stealing. Is that what I want to pass on to them? And sometimes it's going to be up to us to break those cycles and hopefully to replace them with something better, right? So anyways, we bring all those 21 strands together into this one braid, and those represent yesterday, today, and tomorrow, mind, body, and spirit, man, woman, and child, man, woman, Mandu, Creator, God. But anyways, when my son was first born, I made him a promise. And the promise I made to him is that we wouldn't cut his hair till he was 7. So we did that 11 years ago. We cut his hair. I cut my hair same time as well. But when my son was 4 years old, he knew this teaching already. Because every morning, as I'd get him ready to take him to daycare, I would take time and braid his hair. And I would ask him as I'd be braiding his hair, his name is Misko. I'd say, Misko, what does your braid represent? He said, Sweetgrass. Oh, that's good, my boy. What does Sweetgrass represent then? Kindness. Oh, that's good, my boy. What does each of these 3 braids represent? He'd say, my mind, yeah, my body. What's the third one? Oh, my spirit. Oh, that's good, Misko. What are you going to do today at daycare, Misko? I'd ask. And my boy would reply, Daddy, say, I'm going to be kind to my mind. Okay, that's good. What else can you do? He said, Dad, I'll be kind to my body as well. Oh, that's good. Can you do anything else? He said, yeah, I can be kind to my spirit. Oh, that's good, Misko. What's going to happen if you do that, my boy? He said, Dad, I'll be strong. And that's that second teaching that comes with this medicine here. It's through our kindness that we're most strong, right? Anybody can raise their fist at somebody else, right? Anybody can use their words to put somebody down, to hurt them. Anybody can do that. My other little boy, Zungade, when he was about 3 years old, one day, I upset him. I can't remember why, but I upsetted him. He looked up at me and he said, Dad, I don't like you no more. Even a 3-year-old can hurt us with their words. But when we have somebody in our face trying to hurt us, trying to put us down, and to still be kind to that person, to still respect that person, to still love that person, sometimes can take a lot of strength. But that's what this braid teaches us right here, the Sweetgrass medicine. It's through our kindness that we're most strong. Right? And that's what we need to practice as human beings, is that kindness, to show that kindness in our words and our actions, and even in our thoughts as well. But again, a reminder that that kindness always needs to start from within us, meaning that we need to also then be kind to ourselves. Regardless what others might say to us or might do to us, we need to also then remind ourselves that we need to be kind to our own selves as well. So that's part of what I wanted to share with you as part of this first part of this video, is those 2 teachings that Sage acknowledges women and strength and wisdom and the clarity that women bring. It acknowledges their importance in our circles. And it also acknowledges our role as men, in that we need to be able to support those women. We need to lift up the women in a good way. So that's why I wanted to share that teaching in regards to that Sage. and that teaching again with this medicine here, that sweetgrass medicine. In that again, we need to demonstrate that kindness. We need to walk with that kindness always. So with that, I just want to say, Gachim miigwech, 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 miigwech.